Over the past few years, you have been instrumental in helping to form a real navy that is capable of taking on the might of the Royal Navy. Unlike Hopkins, you have always been on the front lines, and Congress has even deemed you worthy of deciding the future of our fleet. To that I say congratulations. Hopefully we'll get to see each other soon, but that is not why I write to you now. The war is entering its final chapter, and the French seem eager to finish off the British and seize control of the Caribbean. The Royal Navy has launched several new vessels equipped with devastating amounts of firepower. These ships have already set sail to reclaim the high seas. We've managed to scrape up enough resources to retrofit an old Hermione-class 5th rate. While old, it can hopefully serve as the backbone of your fleet. Okay, Thomas. You will soon be faced with a greater challenge than ever before. In light of this gracious gift, we should go straight to selling it. Where is it? Strip it and sell it. I don't need it. Thanks for the gift, Thomas. And the officers. It's fortunate that we received that gift to sell because we didn't have any money. And there are lots of Desugalier guns available. Oh, we have the new flagship of our fleet, the USS Savage or Savage. The second-rate HMS London that we stole from the British in a brazen and daring fight that was only saved by the Devil Dog Marines and their reinforcements. It was pretty touch and go. I'm just glad that I recognized that it was a perilous move, because we could have lost, I believe it was the Trident. We have 9-pounders, and I'm going to put those on the decks, replacing the 6-pound Desugaliers on our third-rate ships, so we have that extra firepower on the top deck. I'm not sure how we're going to fit out the Savage. The year is 1779, and with the arrival of Admiral Goichen's fleet, mass hysteria is spreading in the British colonies. The West India Company has begun to evacuate valuable goods back to Britain in an effort to preserve their profit margin. Our spies have reported that these supply convoys are vulnerable and begging to be captured. Let's oblige them, shall we? The war is entered its closing stages, and these supplies will help bolster the fleet in preparation for the final conflict. We split into 2 columns in order to widen our search area and give us the best opportunity to find our quarry. On the morning of the 15th, we finally spotted the convoy replenishing its water supply. The importance of the convoy is not to be underestimated. 3 West Indiamen are being escorted by 5 warships, and it seems they've finished replenishing their water supplies and are making sail. Our main target should be the escorts, but let the second column engage the retreating warships. Transports, rather. None of our reports indicated such a formidable escort would be present. This battle will surely be one to remember. It's not bad. Not a bad escort. What have we got? We've got the Hollyhock, the Goliath, the Gallant, HMS Serpent, HMS Romulus, 5th-rate frigates, varying designs. Not too much to worry about with our brutal amount of firepower. The campaign is expecting us to still be running frigate wars, but we are breaking from convention. USS Savage has been upgraded in line with our other flagships, the Trident and the Triumphant, or former flagships, I should say. The only difference being that she has double charge, which is advanced ammunition against armor, hull, and masts. It has high penetration and distance. And I say, why not? So let's have a look at how much this extends our range. Like, ooh, a good 20%. So she's in range now. Still running the stock guns on this thing, which are all Armstrong guns of varying weights and calibers. But those double charge shots are out. Lots of mast hits. That's what we were going for. Some decent sail damage. Very nice. Unfortunately, she's the only ship with the double charge, so she's going to have a lot of penetration power at close range too. When I played the British campaign, I believe I used double shot, which was 2 cannonballs for less range. And I did that to try and compensate for the relative lower firepower that my ships had. We ran Armstrong guns mostly. USS Trident is coming into firing range. Thor is trying to come up with a portside tack. She's taking brutal shot there from 2 ships now. Massive amounts of damage. She's a 5th rate frigate, so fairly sturdy. It's going to take a few more salvos to do anything meaningful. Trying to get some bow shots through to rake through the decks of their HMS Serpent. It seems like we're hitting the mast below deck. Now, it's been a few days since I played Ultimate Admirals. And I did see some of your suggestions for the renaming of the captured HMS London. I decided to go with the USS Savage because I like to name my ships either based on the circumstances of their capture or the traits that their crew like to show. So in this case, the fight was savage. We lost 300 men from the ship of the line. Look at the amount of damage that double charge shot through the bow, raking through the decks, does to their HMS Serpent. Hoping to just destroy these frigates outright. We don't really need to capture them, but we will if they get close. We have just above optimal crew on the USS Savage, but they are slightly inexperienced. I did take aboard a bunch new crew to man this ship. I did put across some of our most experienced crew as well, but their experience was diluted somewhat. I also wanted to keep all of our ship's crews sort of serving on the ship that they're on as well. So apart from John Paul Jones and some of our best ship's officers, most of the crew are on the ships that they've served on for the majority of the campaign. With the British campaign, I lost lots of men and I was doing lots of juggling of crews between different ships, etc. This time I've tried to keep it at you serve on the ship you're on until such time as you get an upgrade. So the loyal frigate crews they're just diehard Marines. And they're going to keep doing that job. At the moment, the frigates probably won't participate for a few battles, unless we get access to more ships in a mission. HMS Thor taking brutal shots from USS Trident on the starboard side, guns opening fire. The crew of the HMS Thor are wavering after taking such brutal damage. HMS Serpent is turning away from the fusillade of grape shot coming from the USS Savage. All the cannon loaded with everything they could find. Knives and forks, silverware, the whole lot. HMS Romulus is undamaged and she's coming in for an aggressive, perhaps a boarding action. HMS Spider's exposed herself to rear shots. She's taken lots of damage to the sails and the structural integrity of the ship. HMS Romulus has taken sail shock after snapping her bowsprit off, coming in super hard against the Savage's starboard side. The other 2 5th rates are just flagging in the water. They've got nowhere to go. They turned against the wind, trying to escape the firepower, but that's just going to extend and prolong their demise. We're going for a boarding action on the Romulus. She's taken massive damage in the initial broadside damage. She's now on fire. Our Marines on deck firing their muskets. Some of the best muskets that we can field on this ship. But we've lost 21 men. 21 men? That's not great. The lines have been thrown trying to catch up to Romulus. She's trying to sail away. She doesn't like the idea of being boarded by the Savage. But as long as she's there, she's going to keep picking away at our crew, and that's not ideal. Savage is now on fire. Did we catch fire from the Romulus? And we've also lost a gun. 2 guns. Maybe that was a direct hit to one of the cannons. Trying the boarding action again. Slowing down the speed a bit. Trying to match speed. Top deck cannons are shooting over the ship, but the low deck ones are making contact. We're doing damage to both sides of the ship. Continuing to use the double charge shot. We're making nice work of these. Hey, we would love to board right now. That'd be great. Boarding has commenced. Our 700 have to squash 200 men. Their morale's pretty bad. The Serpent and the Thor are in trouble. But the Thor's in a pretty good firing position on Triumphant. Triumphant's also lost a gun on the port side. Gallant seems to have taken damage for running aground. She's heading back to shore. Boarding action on this, the Romulus. Look how many losses we took. We took 100 men. Lost 142 men in that action, plus another 40 to board the Romulus. We're going to lose efficiency on our guns. We have 90 guns aboard. Trident and Triumphant crossing over the Savage to intercept the Spider and chase after the merchantmen trying to escape. Gallant's running back to shore. Romulus will run her off the map with the wind. We'll shoot this guy in the back. And we'll get chasing after those merchantmen. The second column has arrived. Our fourth-rate Razzies have arrived. The Redeemer, the Reckoning, and the Romulus. Oh, the Romulus is the one we just captured. The Redeemer and the Reckoning have arrived, as well as the sister ships following up. They are yet to enter the map. Now that we have so much access to Desaguliers air guns, I think I'm going to put 9 pounds on the third-rate decks, and then give the 6-pound Desaguliers that are already owned to the frigates. Again, I think I'm going to keep the Razzies the same. I'm happy with their carronades and their job. I may upgrade their carronades to better quality ones, perhaps ones with higher range. It all depends on how much money we make from this mission. Capturing 3 merchant ships will be nice for the bank balance. It says they're laden with supplies, so hopefully we capture the supplies by capturing the ships. HMS Serpent's been cut off from her fleet. She's flooding pretty badly. Savage is going to take a shot across the Romulus. She's a prize ship, we don't care too much. But the way the broadside rolled down the ship, it largely missed the Romulus. That worked out really well. Let's get around her guns before she opens up again. Savage is going to chase down this merchant. Trident's coming up the side of Hollyhock, much faster than this merchantman. Fourth rates and a few frigates have arrived. We've got the Freedom and the Fury as well. It looks like it may be a rather sedate mission. The last naval engagement was quite long. It's a little bit longer than what I televised because it took some time to chase down the Ajax, and she was quite sturdy. It was a Bologna class. Our crews were exhausted, etc. But ultimately we won the day. And we captured the first second rate to show its face. But there haven't been too many ships of the line. The journal entry said that we're coming close to the final engagement. So maybe that will be a massive fleet engagement. See what sort of assistance we get from the French. I'm not too familiar with the naval battles of the American War of Independence. So I'm not coming at this from a historian's point of view. for me, I've learned a lot about the smaller battles, some of the finer points that the rest of the world probably don't know. But it was certainly an admirable effort to stand up to what was the superpower at the time. And we're all friends now, which is great. So it would have been interesting to see how history had have played out had the Americans lost the War of Independence. Really would have been interesting. Has anyone ever written a story about that? Or a movie? I think that'd be an interesting premise. Would the Americans continue to put up the fight? Would the British have really cracked down? I mean, things were changing in Britain too. The old ways were starting to die off. Kings didn't have as much power as they used to. I mean, you always see alternate history of World War II. I'd be interested to see alternate history of wars back then. Like, what would happen if Napoleon had have won? Would we all be eating cheese for breakfast? Largely, so far this fight's over. We just need to capture one of these. Capture one of these merchants, at least. We scattered them. Triumphant's coming up the side of HMS Serpent to finish her off. The Gallant has surrendered up against the shore. She's cornered with nowhere to go. Second rate bearing down on her. We'll put some Marines in the boat to capture her. We need to slow up a bit first. Get Trident back here. Serpent's on fire. I didn't really want to capture her, but she refuses to capitulate. So we're going to have to do it the hard way. Boarding now. Boarding a burning ship. The other merchant Goliath is running back to shore too. The captains are scattered. They don't know what to do. They're so used to sailing in a formation. Marines are aboard their boat. They will capture that ship shortly. HMS Serpent's wrapping up the boarding operation. Just a few remaining stragglers aboard. And then she may have to deal with the Thor as well. The other ships are finally on station. But it looks like they won't be needed. Minimum crew on the Serpent. She's on fire. So maybe we should put more crew on. Just to help them with the flooding and the fire. We'll do that. We'll save the ship. We fought hard to board it. Better get these guys out of the way of the Thor before they get broadsides in their boat. Triumphant's caught fire, being next to a burning ship. The rigging's taking heat. We better move her away to keep that ship safe. Sylvester, you need to get on that boat quickly. We need damage control. Stat. We will try to save the prize. Now there's 90 men on damage control as more climb aboard. Triumphant's moving to round shot. Trident's going to cut off Thor across the bow. There's not enough space. Oh dear. But we are getting the damage control. Yeah, we've got it under control. The fire should subside shortly. But whether I could get her off the map is another question. Triumphant will need to slow up and wait for the rest of her crew, who are taking fire. Alright, the fire is under control. It's odd. We couldn't put any more crew aboard, but it is very, very lightly crewed. We've got 10 on the sails. And more are slowly moving to the guns. It's one of the finer points that the game doesn't explain is just how in-depth some of the crew management is. Like if you were to run minimum crew and then take damage, it actually really is dangerous. But then you have the benefits of higher top speed, less weight. British campaign was played fully stocked ships, overburdened almost. This has been played above optimal with experienced crews. I wonder if I play the pirate campaign, do I just run minimum crew, mass amounts of small ships? I don't know what perspective the Barbary campaign is played for. I'm hoping it's played as the pirates. But I also don't know a lot about that particular war either. Come on, capture the Thor, please. We're just dragging out this mission needlessly. Wind has changed to south. Thor's taking a battering with the grape shot on the starboard side. Trident just can't quite catch up. Serpent seems fine. She's got a continuous 20 men on the flooding. The pumps are damaged. Romulus is off the map. That's great. Savage has lost a third of her men in boarding and fighting. Less than impressed with that. The Thor has finally surrendered before we've completed the boarding action. So let's try and complete that while we're still attached. Should be good. There's one last merchantman. He's rammed himself up ashore. We've left him behind. The wind's not favourable to go and get him either. Trident's boarding. Surrendered ship. Min crew across to them. Get them off the map. They're slow. With minimum crew, they're going to be slow. That's it. Alright. Just setting up 2 gunnery lines. Just to really rub it into the spider. We don't need to capture her, so we're just going to do some target practice. Get some experience for our crew. Practice some formation sailing. Got the main line with the USS Savage. Secondary line with the USS Redeemer at the front. With that much amount of shot coming in, Spider's got to surrender. Surely. Surrender or explode, sir. Do you not care about your men's lives? Savage is going to turn away and then we'll get on the right course for interception of this final merchantman. Hopefully they're finished by the time the line passes. We might have to linger a little bit longer with the secondary line. Knock down another mast. We've got the Thor off the battlefield, another prize ship. Redeemer can turn around and she'll keep her in sights. Speed up time a little bit so we don't drag this out too long. Doesn't seem like they're going to heed the warning. You're not going anywhere with one rear mast. Going around in circles, that's all you're doing. dirty wooden boats, I can tell you now. Until they explode. HMS Spider. Exploding finally. Let's go and finish off the merchant. USS Savage is ready. Straight through the bow. Surrender. We will kill everyone on decks. They surrendered. Let's try and capture them before they sink. We did so much damage. And it's too late. Alright, some changes to USS Savage. We've put the 9-pound guns on the top deck instead of 12. We've put 18-pound long guns instead of 24-pound Armstrongs. And we're putting 32-pound French reboard guns. Been wanting these guns for a long time. Going to send off all the ships to Admiralty. And we'll keep one of them for sail. Preferably one with guns. Thor will be kept. Strip the guns. And then sell her for the extra cash. We made a lot of money from that, and we didn't even capture all of the transports. I shot one to death and it sunk. 90,000 supplies captured. No doubt we'll have another land mission, so we've got the infantry in reserve. We also added another ship to our fleet, the third-rate Bellona class. We've renamed it the USS Tremble. Because it did have me worried for a while. I wasn't too confident on whether it would kick our butts or not. USS Savage, we're going with accuracy and gunnery. But if you want to see more, you're going to have to hit like, comment down below, and subscribe. Because this is the end of the episode. We're just going to chuck some more crew on. If you want to see more, hit the little link that you see on the side right now. That'll take you to the next episode. We're on the home straights, and I hope to see you there. Commander Tyrael, out.